Before we get started today, do me a favor, smash that like button, drop a comment, and share this video everywhere, because the more sunlight we shine on corruption, the harder it is for these people to hide. And folks, today's video is a perfect example of why that sunlight matters.
Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Sunlight.
Watchdog.
So apparently, according to multiple sources, Hill County Judge Shane Brassell has been making the rounds lately, talking to candidates, talking to officials, and apparently talking a whole lot of trash about yours truly. Now, I'm told the reason for all this gossip is because I'm interfering with whatever business is being conducted behind the scenes. Imagine that. A citizen asking questions about their government, and suddenly the county judge is running around complaining about it. But here's where things get interesting. The night before this commissioner's court meeting, I was sent a copy of the agenda. And right there on the agenda, I see something that made me raise an eyebrow. They were planning to go into executive session, citing a government code that is specifically intended for real estate negotiations. Real estate. Now that's funny, because when you start seeing who shows up at the courthouse that day, things start looking a whole lot less like routine county business and a whole lot more like backroom conversations. So naturally, I figured if the county judge has something to say about me behind closed doors, maybe it's time we have that conversation in public. You're going to see Linda, Polley, Amy, Teal, and myself address the commissioner's court directly. And after that, I'm going to let the rest of the commissioner's meeting roll so you can watch the entire thing and decide for yourself what was really going on. But here's a fun fact that raises even more questions. If the executive session was truly about real estate negotiations, then why were Hillsborough Economic Development Director Jessica True and Hill County Elections Administrator Ada Motherspaugh at the courthouse? And remember, Ada Motherspaugh just happens to be the daughter of Arthur Mann, the former city of Hillsborough Economic Development Director. And speaking of Art Mann, why was Arthur Mann himself seen leaving the courthouse immediately after the commissioner's court meeting? And why was Arthur Mann also spotted just a couple of weeks earlier at the Hill College Economic Development meeting? That's a lot of economic development players showing up for what was supposedly just a routine executive session about real estate. Maybe it's nothing, or maybe it's exactly what it looks like. Because when you start seeing the same names, the same players, and the same closed-door meetings, people start asking some very serious questions about possible backroom deals. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today.
EPAC meeting is moved to Thursday this week. It's normally on Wednesdays, and in Waco it's Thursday morning. And we did get all the Motorola Spillman hardware installed over at the sheriff's office for the new CAD system, but we haven't heard back from Motorola yet as far as scheduling an actual cutover. But all the hardware is installed and up and running. So, okay. Ms. Parker.
Just business as normal.
Ms. Lincoln.
It has been incredibly busy. This time of year, unfortunately, before spring break, after the Christmas holiday, it's super busy in our department. Again, just want to invite anybody that wants to come over and see up everything that we've done over there in the office, see our JJP classroom. If you don't mind, Judge, I just wanted to just thank again Philip and his team. For many years, we did not get a lot of IT support through IT. Not anybody's fault. Our stuff is quite complicated, and Philip and his team have been remarkable in everything that we've asked them to do. So I don't know if people really understand the complexity of the job that he does and his team, but I just wanted to tell them thank you and acknowledge that in open court.
Thank you. Ms. Peavy, auditor's office is.
We're doing good. We're working on some grants, getting ready for our audit. I'm very happy to say we got one of Jim's FEMA payments that we had been working on from 2022, the first of 4. They said we have a second one on the way, so we're fighting through the last 2, and unbelievable that it takes so long, but thankful that it is. You know, you have doubts, that you start having doubts, are we gonna ever get this money? But
I think if
the administration hadn't changed, we wouldn't be getting it.
Oh, probably
That's
so.
from 2018.
Anyway,
Mr. Jackson?
All's good, Judge. Staying busy, watching the work.
It's always good when emergency management doesn't have much to say. No issues. Elections, how are you?
Good. We just finished our March primary election, so we're doing the last bit of the paperwork for all that fun stuff that I'm learning. Still gearing up for city and school, and then, yeah, so we're just working hard to try to track everything. I'm very grateful for all the help that I received on election day. It made the process very smooth, and we were out of here around 10:30, and the votes counted and everything, so I think that's a win from what I'm being told, so, but, yeah, we're just working along.
How's that your life, Zach?
Things are well. Lots of corn been planted over the past 20, 30 days, so it's up and off to a good start now. So we do need a little moisture in the ground for the wheat and that corn to get up even better start. So.
And then you had a coring done at the
Yes, sir. Yeah, we had some core samples taken of the slab and then soil samples below that. So not 100% sure how far they went, but they were going with the soil samples. They were going 15 foot or limestone, whichever came first. So have to check in to see how deep they actually got.
No results back yet?
Not yet. No, that was just done Friday. So I don't know what the timeline is on results.
Mr. Holmes?
Good morning, Judge.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
All right. We'll go ahead and move into open forum. If anybody's here for open forum, this is your chance to come up to the podium, introduce yourself. And then if there's anybody online, we'll do those afterwards. If anybody is here for open forum, it's gonna be 5 minutes.
okay.
And please introduce yourself, even if you've been here already.
Okay. My name is Polley. I want to express that I'm not only here for myself today, but I'm here in regards to a group of Hill County citizens that are deeply concerned about the welfare of Hill County. And I hope you recall that I spoke with you during the public comment session last Commissioners Court meeting and provided significant concerns regarding this Commissioners Court incentivizing economic development projects, wind, solar, and data centers that are detrimental to our way of life and damaging to our property. I also articulated the need for more transparency and open information to the citizens of Hill County. While we were hopeful that each of you would listen and make an effort to be responsive to the citizens you represent, we are deeply concerned with what appears to be a shift towards less transparency. In prior meetings, when posting the agendas for executive session, you have provided a minimal description of the contemplated project. For example, the posting for the last meeting noted that the economic development discussion in executive session will cover the offer of a financial or other incentive to business prospect data center. This appears to be your historic method of posting. Today's agenda, however, provides absolutely no insider notice and merely states to deliberate on updates regarding economic development activity. As I'm sure you can imagine, the citizens of Hill County want more transparency, not less. In addition, we believe that abrupt deviations from the general pattern and level of description provided by government entity in public notices may result in a finding that your notice is insufficient under the Texas Open Meetings Act. We are requesting for you to follow the law. Ask yourself, is today's executive session posting appropriate and compliance with the Open Meetings Act? Why the deviation? Are you hiding something? As a historic Hill County citizen with a family dating back to the early 1900s, I am deeply concerned about what appears to be your continued push for economic development with no focus or regard for the adverse impacts it is having and will have on our county. As I explained in your last meeting, I have spoken with many of my neighbors and other Hill County residents, and we are concerned that this Commissioners Court is proceeding with incentivizing projects that are detrimental to our way of life and damaging to our property. Wind, solar, and data centers are not ideal land uses and will ultimately diminish land values and limit the positive growth of Hill County. You have approved and incentivized enough. We are asking you to please stop. Let me foot stamp this point so no one misses it. We do not want any more turbines, solar farms, or data centers. Please stop. Before you authorize any more economic incentives, come out and talk to the people who are living with this nightmare that is the next Arrow Wind project, Herbert Wind 2. Talk to the people whose land values and sale opportunities have plummeted. Talk to the people who are living with the project next door to their homes. Talk to the people who believe the representations, but are now finding out that it's not so much. I have talked to many of my neighbors, and there is a tremendous amount of frustration with the next Arrow Wind project. Why don't you build some level of reasonable protection for surrounding property owners? We have no protection. As you proceed with your contemplation of wind, solar, and data projects, and consider whether you will incentivize with tax abatements in the future, why not say no and adopt a spirit of transparency? Allow citizens to be informed and provide comment before construction moves into the area, instead of all of a sudden one day you've got 100 trucks flying by your house going 70 and 80 miles an hour, running us all off the road. Before approving abatements for these types of projects, it would help transparency if maps detailing the project area were available and made public for citizens to use. This will allow people to provide meaningful feedback. The citizens of Hill County would appreciate transparency and the opportunity to be heard. Just please hear our voices. Talk to people who live in the area. As elected officials, you should be concerned about transparency and allow your constituents to have a voice. Please stop incentivizing wind, solar, and data centers before you completely destroy this county. I mean, we're in a grassroots movement right now, not just Hill County, not just Texas, it's across the nation, to save this great planet that God gave us, that we are ultimately destroying. We hope that you will consider your obligation to your constituents as you proceed with decisions on these projects. See if I can find the last page here. Growth for the sake of growth is not what citizens of Hill County want. The type of growth you are incentivizing will ultimately limit the positive growth potential of this county. So as I'm closing today, I just ask that you please reconsider what you're doing, and ask if you want these things in your front yard as we're having them in our front yard. And once again, is do as the others as they would have do unto you.
Thank you, Mr. Watchdog, for your comments. Ms. Teal? State your name.
Amy Teal, I'm out in Whitney, and today I wanted to address taxes. Last time around we had comment about how we got a lot of people that just have not been able to pay their taxes. They're delinquent. And the usual response is, they're just gonna have to figure it out. So in our last primary election that we had earlier this month, we had Proposition 1 and 2 on the Republican Party platform. They both address property taxes, eliminating property taxes, and calling for voter approval on any tax increase. And those passed overwhelmingly with 89% and 94% of approximately 25% of the county voting on those measures. Voter turnout really sucks. So I will encourage everybody to work on block walking and notifying people in new ways this May election, so we can get above 3 to 5% turnout on our city and ISD races. But other than that, we've got a lot going on with taxes. I'm going to urge you to figure out how to not spend so much money this next budget session, how to lower taxes. And to reference Ms. Polley's points about the data centers, invest in solar projects and stuff like that, I know that most of y'all are gonna say, there's just not a lot that we can do legally. To that end, if you believe that, and you actually want to help the grassroots, I'm going to encourage all of you to put your name on a letter to the governor calling for a special session to grant you some authority to act locally regarding these developments. Brian Birdwell has already done that. Follow his lead there. Take some sort of action and do it in a public manner. We also have our Republican County Convention coming up, March 28th. It's a Saturday, 9 o'clock, right here. I would encourage you guys to attend and support resolutions that will go forward to the state convention. There's a lot of things that do get through precinct conventions, SD conventions, and state conventions that actually do end up becoming law when they become a priority of the Republican Party of Texas. Right now, we are in a situation where we still have a majority Republican legislature. So this is our opportunity to use that. So again, I'm asking you guys, lower the taxes, get on board with helping people lower their taxes, and do what you can, use your voice to get the state to a level where it can help the people on taxes and quality of life measures.
Thank you, Ms. Teal.
Come on now, I drove 40 minutes to come down here to confront you. I'm here.
What's your
So,
name for the record?
Oh, BZWATCHDOG, Facebook and YouTube. You know exactly who I am, Judge Brassell. That's why I'm here today. Here for you and a couple of other things. I'm sure you saw my post I tagged you last night. So, to get on the statutory things, I just want to let you guys know the minute you go into closed session today, you guys all will be committing a Class A, I believe A or B misdemeanor, and open up Hill County civil lawsuit all in y'all's individual capacity. Mr. Holmes could probably confirm with this if he goes up. Government Code 551.441 commits a misdemeanor by going into open session unauthorized, which you're talking about real estate today, which is what that code is, but yet we have economic development over here talking about economic development things. So you will be breaking the law for a statutory, I'm sorry, you're not a statutory judge. You're a constitutional judge. You were appointed and nobody ran against you. So you really were not elected. I just want to let you know that now. Going back to committing crimes. When you guys are officials, you guys sweep them under the rug. I know of a county prosecutor who's got at least 2 DUIs that were swept under the rug. Got your mugshot. I haven't posted that yet. Unfortunately, the sheriff's not here today. And I don't know how they pass jail standards unless they bribe somebody, because I got another complaint out of the jail yesterday. Not getting meds. I would like to take a tour of the jail. You put them in place. You put those regulations in place. I don't think they're up to jail standards. I think you guys are just lying. It's all backroom deals. Why don't you guys have a little bit of transparency? There isn't any. Right now, I'm looking into all of you guys. Conflicts of interest, all your backroom deals. So if you have skeletons, either confront them or just vacate your positions, because I'm gonna find them. And I'm gonna expose them. And then we're gonna go ahead and take it from there. Texas Attorney General, whatever you got. I don't know yet. I'm still looking. So I'm just letting you guys know. I'm here to put you on notice, including Mr. Brassell. I'm sorry, Judge Brassell. You said out here earlier, you introduced yourself like you never met me. But yet, 45 days ago, I stood up and tried to talk to you over in the Covington building. You know exactly who I am. That tells me a lot about your character. You're two-faced, you're a liar, and I don't know how you made it through being a weekend warrior. I went active duty, Marines, not Army, not reservist. I can toughen this out for the next 4 years. So you can either vacate, not rerun. In fact, I might run against you in 4 years. That would be fun. Who do you think would win? The people would vote, probably for someone representing the people, not for your back pocket. And Mr. Crossan, conflict of interest. Have you filled that out yet? Your affidavit, your business partner? I found that business license online. I'm just curious what other stuff you're hiding in the closet. All your other businesses, all your backroom deals, like this Nexus thing that's going on. How much are you profiting? How much are they profiting? That's what I want to know. I want to know where the money's coming from and where the money's going. There should be a paper trail. Some of you guys that are on board and involved in whatever you got going on, just know I'm gonna find it. For those of you who are honest and transparent, speak up. I'm about the transparency and accountability. I don't see most of the other candidates here except for Mr. Autry. So I hope he wins in the next election. So At least I've talked to him, and he holds himself and seems like an honest man, and we need somebody like that on this commission. How close are we to 5 minutes yet? I'm sucking them all up today.
1:10.
1:10, okay. So, actually, you can give a statement of fact if you'd like to address anything I've said today.
No, that's okay.
No? No comment? Safest thing to say to a journalist, because that's how you know he's usually got something incriminating going on. Miss Motherspa, I asked for some records requests that have not been fulfilled. Maybe you can look into that. It has to do with the election and other stuff. Mr. Holmes, you've got some more records requests coming your way. Great job in handling the thing over the weekend. I appreciate that. I appreciate coming and working those extra hours and getting that handled. How much more time I got, Judge?
22.
Okay, I'm gonna take those 20 seconds and give them over to Miss Teal. I'm sure she's got 20 seconds more to say.
Anybody else here for open forum today? All right. Anybody online? Nobody's online for open forum? All right, that means we'll move into the consent agenda, action on minutes, invoices, payroll, monthly report for revenue and disbursements, and observe penalty for elected officials' training certificates.
Second.
A motion from Commissioner Hawkins, a second from Commissioner Crumpton.
Judge, there was that one payment to government capital, since it's addressed in another item in the agenda, if we would hold that. The approval shouldn't really come until you address the agenda item. It's it's regarding precinct 1's purchase, or proposed purchase of
I'm just trying to
piece of
find it.
equipment.
So you already moved it to separate? Yep. It's in here? I don't know which one it is. Yeah. I'm just trying to make sure the order is. No, do the check. Which one? Okay, I see. I see. Got it. Okay. Any further discussion on the consent agenda? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, as the last of those go around, we'll go ahead and move on to court orders. Number one, discuss interaction on employee wage or status changes. We've got one new hire of Jimmy Ishmael with precinct 2, one separation, Diane Embreeze for tax office, and 2 wage changes for Cabaret Backby and Peyton Collins, both at the SO.
Make a motion for.
Okay, motion from Commissioner Compton, a second from Commissioner Hawkins. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, discuss interaction on bonds. We have an approval on bonds for myself and for the Hill County Deputy Elections Administrator, Richard Dominguez. Any discussion? I have a motion from Commissioner Polley, second from Commissioner Hawkins. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 3, observe and record Hill County CPS Board Treasurer's Report for February 2026. Report was included in the packet.
Make a motion.
I have a motion from Commissioner Holcomb, second from Commissioner Hawkins. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 4, observe and report fourth quarter budget report. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion. Second.
A motion from Commissioner Crumpton, a second from Commissioner Hawkins. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, observe and record first quarter budget report. A motion from Commissioner Hawkins, a second from Commissioner Holcomb. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 6, discuss interaction on Hill County investment report ending in 12/31/2025. Ms. Parker, do you have anything to add to that?
Our policy prepares that report, so I don't want to step on any toes, so I'll assume.
Would you like to speak to it?
I don't really have anything to add, it's all in the report, that's just our investments at December 31st of 25. We're receiving a little bit less on our CDs than we were getting like 4.25 and we're down like 3 to 3.4, but we're still getting a good rate and getting a good return on investments.
Motion from Commissioner Holcomb, a second from Commissioner Hawkins. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion All right, number 7, presentation by representative from MVBA regarding delinquent tax collection report for Hill County.
Thank you so much. Judge,
How are you, sir?
Commissioners, good, how are you doing today?
State your name, please.
Yes, Nicholas Sketchy. I'm a shareholder with Murray, Consulta, Bragg and Allen. We're the law firm that collects the county's delinquent property taxes. Very happy to be here today to present our report to you. If you would please flip to page 3 for me. This chart is the total revenue from tax collections chart. And this, to me, is probably the most important chart in the whole book. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time on it. You can see that through the years, Hill County has had excellent collection rates. It's broken down by category. So you've got your adjusted levy, which will show you what your levy is for each year. Your total current and delinquent collections, which is the base tax, which is due each year. Then you've got penalties and interest collected, which are owed on any delinquencies. These are set by statute. They're really not changed. It's percentage point per month and a set penalty as time goes on. And then adding all that together, you get your total revenue for each year that you have here, tax years 2024 through 2021. And you can see that the trend is that you are actually collecting a sufficient amount of revenue to fund the county. You are collecting, in some cases, a little bit more than what your levy is because of those penalties and interest. And that's something that is, it can change each year. You don't know exactly what you're going to collect. The delinquency can run between 2.5% to 5% per year potentially. So everything added together is how we reach the total revenue. And you can see that you are doing very well. You are hitting your levy every single year for those 4 years. The next chart is cumulative tax collections. This shows your levy broken down by year without any type of delinquency added in. This shows just what you are collecting on each levy for each year. And you can see again, you are hitting about 97.5 for tax year 2024. This is as of the end of February. So you do have a little bit of extra time in there beyond when that was due. You are hitting, you can see it trending up, so as years go on, you are going to collect more of each levy because there's just more time for people to pay. If you flip over again, this is the delinquent tax collections. So this is where our firm comes in. On July 1st of every year, we receive any delinquent accounts that you all have remaining. Taxes are due January 31st and they're delinquent February 1st. So this is what hits our firm as July 1st every year. You can see that in 2024, in 8 months of collection activity, we have collected 57.66% of the delinquent taxes. And then each additional year beyond that, you can see it goes up, as would be expected. With more time, you can collect more taxes because more people are paying over time. Next page is the status of outstanding delinquent balances. You can see that the highest, again, will be the most recent year because it has the least amount of time for people to pay. As time goes on, those amounts shrink and shrink and shrink until they hit about 2 or 3%, and this represents amounts that are just uncollectible from bankruptcy, deferrals, any other legal status that would prevent collection of those taxes. If you flip over again, I want to show you the collection activities report. This shows exactly what activities were conducted to collect delinquent taxes. I like to think of it as a dial, if you will, of different pressure levels that you can apply. And we don't want to apply more pressure than is needed, but we want to collect the revenue that's due to the county because you all need it to operate. So you can see the amount of notices mailed, the suits filed, the judgments, and it all lines up in collection activity for the county, collecting your taxes. If you flip again, this is our bankruptcy litigation. Sometimes taxpayers will file bankruptcy, and we do have our own bankruptcy team in-house, and we have handled that for you. So over the years, we've handled notices of appearance, file proofs of claim. We want to ensure that in that process, you remain able to collect the taxes that are owed to the county. And all of this is done, as a reminder, at no cost to the county. It's a statutory system for how it works, and we believe that Hill County is in great shape. Your taxpayers in general are at a very good pace, so we think economically Hill County is doing very well through their tax collection. Do y'all have any questions?
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all. Very good to see you.
All right, we'll move on to number 7, a presentation by the representative number 8, presentation by Hill County Extension Agent Zach Davis regarding the Hill County General Bounty Program.
Thanks, Judge. How are you? Appreciate the time this morning to just kind of bring you an update on the bounty program, a program that predates several of us. Remember who was on the court when this was established. It happened before I got here as well.
Thank you, sir.
I just inherited it when I transferred down here in 2015, and so we've kept it running and tried to do our best with it. So it's been a little bit since I provided an update so I thought I'd give you a rundown. And so just as a reminder, the goal of this program is to significantly reduce the feral hog population, economic, agricultural, and environmental damage caused by feral hogs here in Hill County. There's a committee of volunteers that helped me kind of set some standards and so forth with this, and that it's obviously needs your approval before any of those are put into place. And so appreciate the gentlemen that work with me to do that. Currently, we offer a $10 bounty for those feral hogs that are taken out of or off of the landscape. The verification process of that is the biological evidence that they provide me is a tail from a feral hog that has been killed and again removed from the landscape to not cause any more damage. Those are obviously we prefer those frozen where they don't smell as bad, and we prefer them in 10 tails to a bag. Now we do count every one of these, and some days it costs me some money, and some days it saves me money. But we count every one of those as they come through our door. We handle this on the third Friday of each month. There at the extension office in the garage or shop type area there. Keep it out of the main area. But from 9 to noon there are conflicts that arise with that schedule, but we go through and make sure that there's an opportunity each month for these folks that are participating in this to bring those tails to us and get taken care of. It's a great way for folks to be involved in a local issue, and it's not just an ag issue. They can get in our city parks, homeowners deal with it as well, and so I don't want everybody to think that this is just an ag issue. It's a county issue and all across the board, all facets of life, honestly. So through this program, the court, as it began, felt that education was the key to this deal. And so since I got here in 2015 and then started doing education with this in 2016, you can see the contacts over the years through that draft that I provided you there. But I've provided feral hog education to 1,763 individuals. Obviously, some of those are the same over time, but we've had the opportunity to be in front and educate those folks about what feral hogs are, the legalities of hunting them, what that consists of, and then options for their control. And so we feel like that is the best way to continue to educate folks as new technologies become available and so forth. So we get to the performance on the back page there, and you can see I broke it down by fiscal years. So this program started in October of 2014 and ran on grant program money through the Texas Department of Agriculture for the first several years. That money then got transferred over to Wildlife Services through AgriLife. We got a grant like in probably 18, 19, and then we've been unsuccessful since then in that grant program. But we continue to attempt that to try to offset the funds that the court provides. But all total, in the nearly 12 years that this program has been running, we've tracked the harvest of 13,842 hogs through that program. The thing that I'll tell you is that I do have several participants in the program that take way more than that, but that's all they'll bring me because they don't want tax implications. And they tell me that at the forefront of the deal, and I understand, but if they're not bringing it to me, I can't track their numbers. And so we appreciate the continued support of this. Certainly in this area, it's the longest running feral hog abatement program that there is. There's maybe one or two south of us down in Hayes County and so forth that have been running a little bit longer, but the court certainly invested in this program over time, and I think it's made a difference here in Hill County.
Thank you very much. Any questions? There you go. Thank you. All right, number 9, this presentation by Hill County Treasurer Rachel Parker regarding Watchdog and Teal.
Just kind of want to give everybody an update on Curative. Curative went to a little different model as of 1/1/26. They were using the First Health Network previously, and they went to a direct contract with hospital networks as of 1/1. So there were a few changes for employees. We've kind of been here hand in hand with Rachel, kind of working through our office. We also have sent out a few updates through email, and then we just make our staff accessible to all employees to work through these things. And what's a little bit different, you say what's different from going from a contract to a direct contract with the hospital network. Curative is a little bit different. As you all know, it's a $0 copay. So when members are able to go in these hospitals and go see doctors, there's no copay. It's a $0. It's something that's new to healthcare. I say new, it's been around about four years now. But it's something that's really been nice for the members to be able to have just $0 access. The extension has been one of the local hospital networks that has been slow to transition and get a new contract. So there's been some disruption at extension since January, and we've been kind of working through that. Some doctors take it, some doctors don't. But they do provide, Curative provides you with what's called a cash card. So when you walk in the office, if they're not a direct contract with Curative, you should be able to tell them, I just want to be a cash pay patient, and then you have a Curative debit card that essentially takes care of any charges that are associated with your visit. Due to some legal back and forth between Extension and Curative, the actual hospital has accepted the Curative cash card, so there's no issue for the members going to the hospital. Now, there's two separate entities when you go to Extension. There's the actual hospital, and then there's the physicians network. The physicians network are going to be your specialists and your out-of-office doctors that you go see that are associated with Extension, but not directly working at the hospital. Those have been slow to take the Curative card, so we're telling members we can either work on it on a one-on-one basis, or we can tell you that, Baylor Scott and White will take it, no questions asked. No issues. So just kind of want to give everybody an update of where we are with that. I actually got an email yesterday from Curative saying they're moving in the right direction, but I can't give you a timeline of how quickly they're going to get an updated contract. This is something that's not new to carriers, hospital networks. We've had the same issue with Blue Cross. My wife's on Blue Cross HMO plan. Extension was going to be out of the network. You see it run on WTX. What are we going to do? Blue Cross is not, Extension's not accepting Blue Cross. So this is just negotiating tactics, unfortunately, that affect us, your members. But we want to make sure that they have $0 access to as many facilities as possible. Your local hospitals here in Hillsborough, Clifton, they're all part of the network, and then your Baylor Scott and White, like I said, the actual hospital of Extension is still in the network. It's just some of those specialists and those doctors' offices outside are not taking the Curative part right now. Legally, they're bound to do so, but they want to fight that legal battle, so it's sometimes easier to go to Baylor Scott and White, but they do have a direct contract with them. I'm going to be available here the rest of the day as needed. Like I said, our team always has pretty good access to any issues that members have, but we want to be here and be present to make sure your members are taken care of. That's what we do in this program. So, any questions? All right. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, sir. All right, number 10, discuss interaction on monthly date balances for February 2026. Motion from Commissioner Crumpton, second from Commissioner Crumpton. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. While that goes around, we'll go ahead and move on to number 11. Discuss under action on purchase over $5,000 for the Hill County Sheriff's Office to repair the north Sally Port door. Chief Westmore?
Yes, sir. Yeah, the north Sally Port door on the backside of the jail has been giving us issues for the better part of the last month and a half. We still have access, obviously, to the south Sally door, which is okay. Just causes people basically going in and have to back out. It's a very tight, passageway to get people through that area. We very much prefer for people to pull straight through. I think from a safety aspect, it keeps someone from clipping the building. Those SWAT cars, when you're going to the south port, the visibility out the back of it is not always the best. They've got cages, they've got tinted windows. Anyway, the north Sally Port door has been there since the place was built. Not exactly sure what happened to it other than a large spring. As most of you know, the north Sally Port door is an industrial overhead door. Got a very large drum at the top of it with a very large spring that sits inside of that drum, and apparently that spring is broken. And the other side of it is that the door is so old that spring is extremely hard to find. So went through, we talked to multiple overhead door companies, multiple companies that previous administration used. It is for $13,000 for this repair. That sounded extremely expensive to us. We started reaching out to other vendors in the area, as well as an actual company, which I believe is Vortex, the one in the deal. Less than half that, and then they tell us that they don't believe the problem is near as serious as the initial company told us. So this is a nationally known company. It's a reputable company. It's the best quote that we could find for the repairs that are needed, and it's absolutely needed. I believe the funds are available in our repair budget right now to do it. It will sting a little bit having to spend that much at one time with so much more time left in the budget year, not knowing what could break, any given moment. But this was the best deal we could find, get the north Sally door back open and operable again, from safety and travel to the Sally door. So it's basically it. We really need it fixed.
So what happens if you have two motor control cars pull up at one time with prisoners inside? You have to unload one, back it out, and the other one sits in the parking lot?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you could potentially be just blocked in there. It keeps deputies or municipal police officers from getting back out on the street in a timely manner after they make an arrest. It covers a number of things. They have accessibility all the way through. So time is always important. So, but that was from a reputable company. That was the best quote that we could find to get the work done. It's just like everything else. It's just not cheap. So, kind of stuff.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Lynch, a second from Commissioner Hawkins for the approval on purchasing over $5,000 for the Hill County Sheriff's Office to repair the north Sally door. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 12, discuss our action to accept a donation of a light tower from Trenton Facility for Hill County Emergency Management. Mr. Jackson, can you speak to this, please?
Yeah, so we had a gentleman that was selling a light tower trailer on Place, and we reached out to him and we offered to donate it. So it's just a shell. We're going to use it for a couple of different things. Overall, those units, when they complete, they're $25,000, $30,000. So this one's just a shell. Spend a minimal amount of money out of the budget to make it work.
What do you think it costs you to get it done?
Need some tires. I don't know the exact cost. I can say it's under $10,000. I would say under $5,000 probably, but I don't know the exact cost.
Motion from Commissioner Holcomb to accept a donation of a light tower from Trenton Facility for Hill County EMT. A second from Commissioner Hawkins. All in favor say aye. Aye. opposed? Motion carries. Yep, number 13, discuss interaction on modified interlocal agreement between Hill County, Texas and the city of Hillsborough, Texas regarding emergency management coordinator services.
So this is the exact same agreement from last quarter, other than they asked, the city attorney asked for one little line of linkage we put in, and that's where the county will notify the city when I'm gonna go, for vacations or trainings and stuff like that. So that was the only thing that they asked for.
I've got two minor amendments. I think you can go ahead and approve it, and I can run upstairs to make those right after the meeting. One is just a non-appropriation clause in the event that the contract will terminate, or the interlocal will terminate in the event that the city of Hillsborough does not appropriate funds to fund their payment. And then just the actual appointment of Mr. Jackson as the representative to express language.
I'll even make sure.
Subject to council's suggestions.
Motion from Commissioner Holcomb, second from Commissioner Hawkins, to approve the interlocal agreement between Hill County and the city of Hillsborough regarding emergency management coordinator services, and then the two changes mentioned by Mr. Holcomb. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Alright, number 14, discuss interaction on FY 2027 juvenile justice and youth diversion grant resolution. Ms. Lincoln.
We've actually already approved this resolution. This is for our truancy prevention program. They just have asked us to amend to show that our fiscal officer is our county auditor. Their offices always serve as the fiscal office for the grant. They were just asking that to be included in the language, so that's the only change to the resolution.
Second. I have a motion from Commissioner Hawkins, a second from Commissioner Compton. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 15, discuss interaction on the resolution regarding a contract for the purpose of refinancing the motor vehicles. I believe this is yours, Commissioner. Yours, Commissioner.
Finance those three road graders, and I thought it was gonna be a balloon payment with extension. It wasn't, so, and it's during the last, roughly 200 and
We're speaking about the resolution regarding contract for the purpose of refinancing road graders.
It's like 260 or 70,000 over the road.
Yes, the payoff was like 350 and we're paying 125 plus the interest and the balance. It's paid over, I believe, 2 years, so there's 3 payments. And upfront payment to pay the 125, that was due anyway, plus the next 2 payments.
No, that is already budgeted.
Yes, the 125 was what we thought we were to pay, we didn't realize it was a balloon payment during the budget process.
I think 125 of one.
That's all pretty. Well, if you buy them cheap, you could lease them.
Oh, man. They're worth 500,000 now. Is it? It's nuts. It's insane.
So did they have a resolution? You have a resolution?
Yes.
Approve the resolution.
A motion to approve the resolution regarding contract for the purpose of refinancing road graders from Commissioner Lake, a second from Commissioner Hawkins. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
So they're 5 every one?
Even a 24 marker with 2,000-3,000 hours on it is still like 480,000.
Well, let's go. What's gonna ask is 450.
Yeah.
Hard to swallow.
You got to make the right time.
Okay, discussing our action on the purchase of the entire two-wheel drive chip spreader with a 11 to 22 inch variable with hopper.
That would be mine. So we've been talking about this for a year, I guess. The county has one chip spreader between the four precincts. And with the condition of the roads in precinct 1 and our upcoming plans for this year, chip spreader is going to be kind of at the forefront to raise the condition of the roads. This is a hard bullet to bite, but it's something that the county needs, rather than having two precincts tied up on one machine to get 2-3 miles of road done. It's just not fair to Larry, it's not fair to citizens of the county. I'm gonna buy him out for 5,000. No, we've had conversations, so we jointly own the chip spreader. Larry's agreed to buy me out of that one, and I've encumbered funds from last year's budget to put the down payment on this at $120,000. And then the purchase price is $400,000. Finance balance that will give us the ability to kind of move forward independently and raise the conditions of these roads. If you only have a limited time, you got to go out offices, 8 minutes in, and then we're just having to try to get something done this year. And free up, go ahead and into this. It's an all-out effort. We got to try to pull this people out. And right now, we have one guy in the county that I know of that knows how to run the chip spreader, and it's Kai. We got training coming, as soon as this gets approved, the machine will be delivered this week, and we'll train on that. And we'll probably have to call Kai for a little input, but we'll get our wheels up under us. You're not getting him. Because this is hard to run that machine. It's just like this distributor truck. And the head, you want to stop. Second. Motion to approve the purchase of the Etner two-wheel drive chip spreader with 11 to 22 variant with hopper.
Motion from
With a full breath.
Polley was on the chart.
Hmm.
It was on the chart, and it was an 8-month wait to get, could get one for 8 months.
I have a motion from Commissioner Holcomb, second from Commissioner Crumpton. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Now we'll go back to consent agenda for the 2 checks that are for the.
Yes.
Okay. And that would be the approval of the accounts payable check from 3/3/26 for $122,537.78, and the approval of accounts payable check for $113,024.49.
Second.
A motion and a second. Motion from Commissioner Holcomb, second from Commissioner Hawkins. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Yes, ma'am.
Along with with gyms, there should have been a resolution from government capital regarding
Yes,
this.
ma'am, it's attached. It's attached. Yes, ma'am, to the approval of the purchase.
Okay, we need a separate motion on purchasing the chip spreader. We also have a resolution from government capital for the financing of it. The agenda item, this says action on purchase of Ednar wheel drive chip spreader.
Or you can make it part of your motion, either way, you can either do separate motions.
Somehow we need to include the
I make my
financing.
motion then to include the resolution for government capital to facilitate purchase of the Edna to wheels or cheap spreader.
Sure. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, number 17, we're entering the public hearing to set and install traffic control devices in the form of 30-mile-per-hour speed limit sign on Hill County Road 1211. Anybody here for the public hearing for the speed limit sign on Hill County Road 1211? Anybody online? Is that online? All right. Go ahead and go to 18, we're going to close the public hearing. Number 19, discuss interaction and install traffic control devices in the form of a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit sign on Hill County Road 1211.
Make a motion to install traffic control devices in the form of 30-mile-per-hour speed limit signs on Hill County Road 1211.
Motion from Commissioner Holcomb, second from Commissioner Hawkins. All in favor say aye.
Yeah.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, number 20, pursuant to section 551.072, Texas Government Code, County Commissioners Court of Hill County will meet in closed/executive session to deliberate any updates regarding economic development activity.
I think you should table that since there have been concerns about lack of transparency, we can repost it.
Okay. All right. From council, requesting us to table that for lack of transparency. We'll go ahead and table that at this time. We'll move to, we don't need 21. Last one.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you do it. Bring the law. So, buckle up, smash that like button, drop a comment, share this everywhere, follow us on Facebook for real-time updates because sunlight is coming. And as always, sunlight is the best disinfectant.
Is the best disinfectant. Sunlight.
Watchdog.
Tyranny, corruption, extortion.
Sunlight is the best disinfectant. BZWATCHDOG News Network.